When I met Sara, I thought I'd finally found the love of my life. She was charming, funny, beautiful, and made me believe in something I thought I had lost years ago: trust. For 2 years we dated, and I fell harder for her with every passing day. So when I proposed, I poured everything I had into making her dream wedding come true: $20,000. Every cent I'd saved over 6 years went into that wedding. The dress she wanted, the venue she dreamed of, the flowers she handpicked. I gave her everything. I wanted her to have the happiest day of her life. But little did I know that same day would mark the beginning of my greatest humiliation, and the spark for the most explosive revenge I would ever plan. It started 3 months after the wedding. I came home early one Friday. I wanted to surprise Sara with dinner and wine, maybe spend some quality time together since we'd both been so busy. But as I walked into the apartment, I noticed something strange: the sound of muffled laughter coming from the bedroom. At first, I thought maybe she was on a video call with her friends, but then I heard his voice, a deep, familiar voice I hadn't heard in years. It was Omar, her ex. My stomach sank. I froze in the hallway, trying to make sense of what I was hearing. Sara giggled softly, whispering things I couldn't fully make out. And then, through the silence, I heard it: Omar calling her babe. My chest tightened, my breath stuck in my throat, and every instinct in me screamed to burst through that door. But something inside told me not to. Not yet. I turned around and walked out quietly. That night I couldn't sleep. My mind raced with questions. Why Omar? Why after everything we'd built? Why after I spent $20,000 making her dreams come true? But I didn't confront her. Not yet. Instead, the next day, I installed a small voice recorder under the bed and synced it to my phone. I had to know the truth before I made my next move. The following week, I went to work as usual, but checked the recordings during lunch breaks. At first, there was nothing. Normal conversations, casual phone calls, just Sara humming around the house. And then on Thursday afternoon, I heard it. She called Omar. "Yeah, babe, I miss you too. I hate that I have to pretend with him every day," she said softly. "No, he has no clue. He's still paying for everything like an idiot." Those words hit me harder than anything else. She didn't just cheat on me, she mocked me. I spent the next month gathering every piece of evidence I could find: texts, call logs, bank statements showing the hotel bookings. I even pulled CCTV footage from a cafe where they met regularly. When I had everything, I didn't confront Sara directly. I wanted my revenge to be loud, public, and unforgettable. And the perfect opportunity came: Sara's birthday party. I rented a banquet hall and invited all our friends, her family, my family, over 80 people. Sara thought it was my special surprise for her, and she was thrilled. The evening began perfectly. Laughter, music, speeches. Sara was glowing, believing I was still the doting, clueless husband. She had no idea what was about to happen. After dinner, I stood up, microphone in hand, and smiled at her. "Sara," I began, my voice steady, "you've always said birthdays are about making memories. So tonight I want to make sure this is a night everyone remembers." She smiled, looking touched. But as the lights dimmed and the projector turned on, her expression changed. The screen lit up with screenshots: her texts to Omar, their photos at hotels, the call logs, the receipts. Every single piece of her betrayal, displayed for everyone to see. Gasps filled the room. Her father stood frozen, her mother covered her mouth, friends whispered furiously. And Sara? She just sat there, pale, shaking, unable to speak. I didn't scream. I didn't curse. I simply said, "Ladies and gentlemen, this is the woman I spent $20,000 marrying. The woman who promised me forever while crawling back to her ex behind my back." And then I calmly took off my wedding ring, placed it on the table, and walked out. Sara chased after me, sobbing, begging me to talk about it privately. But it was too late. I filed for divorce the next day, presenting all the evidence to my lawyer. Because of the prenup, which she didn't bother reading before signing, she got nothing. No alimony, no share in my savings, no rights to the apartment. I kept everything, including the car and furniture I'd paid for. Omar, the love of her life, dumped her 2 weeks later when he realized she was broke. Her own family cut ties with her out of humiliation. Meanwhile, I focused on myself, my career, my health, my happiness. Within a year, I got promoted, moved into a bigger place, and met someone new. Someone genuine. Sara, on the other hand, was living in a small rented room, jobless and abandoned by everyone she once manipulated. My revenge wasn't just exposing her. My revenge was thriving without her. But there was one final twist. 6 months after the divorce, I ran into Omar at a cafe. He looked terrible, unshaven, broke, and miserable. When he saw me, he tried to smirk, but his voice cracked. She ruined me too, man, he admitted quietly. She drained my savings and left. I looked at him, smiled faintly, and said, "Guess we both paid for her lies, but at least I got my money's worth." And I walked away, leaving him to drown in the chaos he helped create. Sara thought she played me, but in the end, she played herself.